Hello and welcome to Moneycontrol. We're speaking today with Rakshit Jagdale, who is the managing director of Amrut Distilleries. Hi, Rakshit.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, please.
Good morning. What kind of day is it in Bangalore today?
well, Bangalore is a monsoon season, so it's pretty great. I think monsoon has been reasonably good so far. So fingers crossed that we end on a positive note this year. Yes.
So, tell us about your family history with, Amrut Distilleries. It goes back 75 years.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. The distillery was established in 1948 uh, by my grandfather, Mr. Radhakrishna Rao N. Jagdale, here in Bangalore. Initially, it began as a blending and bottling unit, and then in 1950s we began to distill rum, rather rectify rum. And in 1963 we entered the canteen stores department, to supply our contract rum known as Amrut Triplex rum. It was a very popular contract rum for almost 3 decades in the canteen stores department. My father joined the family business in 1972. That is when he sort of pioneered the concept of premiumization.
And what's your earliest memory of visiting the family distillery?
That's a good one. I think earliest memory was when we first opened our new distillery on Bangalore Mysore Road. That was way back in 1987 when the distillery was first started. So that's my earliest memory of visiting the visiting the distillery. So after that, of course, I didn't visit until I finished my graduation when I was 21 and joined the business when I was 21 as well. So it was only after that that obviously, but being in the family business of distillers, you're exposed, to the hearsay that goes around within the family itself, and I was keen to get into the family business itself, and I would say God has been kind. I would say, yeah.
So, what was your first taste of whiskey?
Well, my first taste of whiskey was when I was 21. We had a family get together, and then we have a premium whiskey called Macintosh, which does exceedingly well. So that was my first memory of tasting whiskey. Actually, yes, yeah.
Any brandy before that? You give kids brandy, etc. Like, what's your first alcohol?
Yes, ma'am. No, 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 ma'am. Nothing, and nothing of that sort, please. Yes, my father was very, very firm, saying that you must earn and drink. You should not drink on your father's money, which was a philosophy that like I completely agree with what he said. So after I was 21, after a few months after I started earning, then he said, "Okay, you're now eligible." Yes, so yeah, but we
Excellent.
but,
So,
enjoy alcohol, but you should respect it as at the same time, and savor it responsibly. Those were his words when I started. I said, absolutely, yes, definitely.
excellent. Now that we're on the topic of money, it's a
Yes,
question
please.
that is everywhere on Google about your family's net worth. What can you tell me about that? I think the last estimate was 700 crores. Is it still around there, or is it?
Um, well, I think if to be honest, we haven't done a valuation exercise as far as the company is concerned, and where do the brands stand, and things like that. This is an exercise which we probably intend to do going forward. So it's at this point in time, it will be difficult for me to tell you exactly what could be the numbers until we do a thorough analysis, please. Yeah.
Okay. What can you tell me about the volumes that sort of Amrut sells in a year across whiskies, across gins, etc.? What are the number
Right.
of units that you're doing?
Um, uh, all in all, we do about 5.5 million cases of the entire spirits category at Amrut, starting from brands which are in the economy range. In our company's first brand, Amrut's Silver Cup brandy is a millionaire brand. We have brands like Amrut Triple X Rum, as I explained, which is the first rum that we launched from Amrut. So the entire spectrum, starting from the economy range, going up to the luxury range, where we market our range of spirits. Just not Amrut single malt whiskey. We also have the Two Indies rum, which is a luxury rum, and we have the Nilgiri's distilled gin, which is also a luxury gin as well. So the entire portfolio, we do about 5.5 million cases. In that, we also have a brand called Amrut Amalgam, which is a pure malt whiskey. And the luxury division itself, we are with this year we will be closer to about 135,000 cases. So 135,000 cases we'll be doing in the luxury division itself this year, please. Yeah, out of
So,
which 90, 93, 95% of it is luxury whiskey, the amalgam range, as well as the single malt whiskey range, please. Yeah.
so when you say luxury, can you give me a sense of how do you sort of look at your market? What is your economy range and what is your luxury?
See, it basically it depends on how much we recover. What is known as an X distillery price, or in short form, it's known as EDP. So our ex distillery price in the economy range is roughly about 500 rupees to 550 rupees a case. Well, if you move to the luxury segment, it goes up to about an average of about 12,000 rupees a case. So that is how we cover almost the entire gamut of the entire spirits, the range that we have over here. We have brands that are in the economy range, in the deluxe, in the prestige, in the semi-premium, premium, and luxury division, luxury segment, to say. So that's the variation from 550 to 12,000 rupees on an average per case, please. Yeah.
Perfect. You mentioned that this is a made in India, made in Bangalore product. And with
Yes,
whiskey,
please.
we know that everything sort of makes a difference. The climate in which it is aged, the water which is used to make it, all the different ingredients that go into it. Can you tell me a little bit about the deliberation that happens when you're sort of selecting ingredients for the whiskey?
Yeah. See, Amrut, starting from barley to bottle, is 100% Indian. We source our barley from Northwest India. It comes from Punjab, Haryana, and parts of Rajasthan as well. And it is malted in the maltings known as bar maltings, and also souffle maltings somewhere around Delhi. And the malted barley is transported to Bangalore, 2,220 kilometers to Bangalore, where the distillery is located. So the base ingredient is malted barley. Water comes from, we have deep well waters. The company has a farm which is about 7 kilometers from our distillery. It's called borewell. We draw the borewell water, which is very very nice. It's next to a lake, and the water is of exceptionally good quality. So we are blessed by nature. As far as the raw material ingredient, malted barley is concerned, comes from Northwest India. Water, which is exceptionally good quality of water. And starting from the way we select a barley, right up till processing the entire thing, right from milling, process of milling, fermentation, distillation, then maturation and bottling. Everything happens at our unit over here in Bangalore. So it's 100% Indian, and we feel very proud about it. It's made in India product today. Yeah.
You mentioned markets in EU and the US. Are
Yes, please.
exports still the largest portion of where your revenue comes from?
The Indian luxury division, across, for not only for Amrut, for everybody, has is doing exceedingly well. I mean, Indian single malt whiskies are now, competing on level terms with single malts from Japan, and also from Scotland and Ireland as well. So the Indian single malt category is doing well. So if you take a split, I would say today it is roughly around 60% India and 40% overseas. That is the split, please, at the moment. Yeah.
So a lot has also changed in the industry in the last 15 years. It's become a little bit more crowded since you sort of launched Amrut Fusion. What can you tell me about the industry? What is it looking like within India and on a global scale? What is the perception around Indian whiskey?
The perception around Indian whiskey globally has increased phenomenally. globally as well as in India as well. So no longer India has is perceived as a low, or as a, what to say, a cheap alcohol producing nation, producing just maybe lower alcohol products like Iraq or something else. We are known to produce uh, world class alcohol. It's not only whiskey. Our gins globally are doing well. Of course, single malt whiskies are doing exceedingly well. So I think there's a lot of scope, and people globally and in India as well perceive Indian alcohol and even rums today. Indian rums globally are doing exceedingly well. We have two Indies rum that is produced in Amrut, is doing exceedingly well abroad. And I think going forward, the concept of premiumization is here to stay. And today we are second to none as far as quality of the Indian single malt segment, as you may call it, that we are offering today globally. Yeah.
Perfect. Can you tell me a little bit about your pricing for some of your luxury segment whiskeys? They sort of go into 15,000, 20,000 rupees. How is that pricing sort of done?
Yes, ma'am. See, if you look at a country like India, as you know, alcohol is a federal subject. Each state has its own alcoholic policy, alcoholic laws for alcohol, for regulating alcohol. So that being the case, though our ex distillery price is more or less the same, maybe slightly higher in certain states, but in general it is the same across India. But because of the taxation, the maximum retail price, the consumer buying price changes. For example, take a city like Bangalore, which in Karnataka, a brand like Amrut Fusion is available for 4,400 rupees today. The same product retails in Goa for about 3,600, in Bombay for 5,400, and in North India, whether it's Haryana or in Punjab, it retails at about 3,200. So it's a state subject, and depending on what taxation the state levies on alcohol, it varies according to that. Please, yeah.
Excellent. Can you tell me a little bit about how the space is looking right now? Is it looking more crowded now with more people coming into Indian whiskeys?
Oh yes, I mean, after post Amrut's launch in 2004, Paul John followed suit. If I'm not mistaken, in 2010, if I'm correct. Then Rampur came on board. Indri followed suit in 21, 22, if I'm correct. So we have Gyanchand, another very good single malt whiskey produced in Jammu, in North India. That's doing exceedingly well as well. We have Codes from Karnataka, Bangalore, Solon as well. So I think many Indian distillers are going to jump on the single malt whiskey bandwagon for sure. Over the next, I think, year or two, certainly we are going to witness at least another 5 to 7 more single malt whiskies produced in India to hit the shelves, which is very interesting actually. We welcome that, as because the category is only going to grow. People will get exposed to drinking outstanding whiskies coming in from India. So we welcome that actually. Yeah, it is getting crowded, but I think whether it's Amrut or Paul John or Indri, or Codes or Gyanchand, we have set very high quality benchmarks. As long as our industry peers are able to benchmark the quality that we have established, I think we welcome, and it's good to see Indian single malts doing well, not only in India but abroad as well.
It took some time for you to standardize and to organize around what Indian whiskey really is. To what level it should be aged, where the ingredients should come from, etc. What are some of the challenges now that you've sort of got a sense of what Indian whiskey should be? What it should say on the label, where it is from, etc. Can you
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
me about the next few challenges that you see for the industry?
See, the challenges that I see is on regulations. As you're aware, it's highly regulated industry, and I wish the Indian industry, alcobev industry as a whole, is able to convince lawmakers that the industry is not what it was, say, 15, 20 years ago. It's completely changed now, and our laws also have to change with the times. We can't stick or hold on to very old archaic laws which were set up by the British way back before 1947. Many of the laws are that old, 75, 80-year-old laws we still have. I think there has to be a more proactive approach from the industry as well as lawmakers to ensure that an industry today which contributes close to 3 lakh crores in revenues. This I'm talking direct revenues, whether it's in the form of sales tax or whether it's in the form of excise duties. Industry has to, the lawmakers have to recognize that today we are an industry that's contributing a lot as far as taxation is concerned. So I think it's a process. I think proactively both the sides have to see how we can strengthen the alcobev industry in India, please. Yeah.
Could you give me an example of a law that you think needs to be changed?
Well, again, it depends on, it varies from state to state, ma'am. Again, I can't pinpoint and tell that this should be a specific thing, but I think laws in general, we have to, industry has to lobby state-wise and see that we move away from the old thinking pattern, and the concept of trust has to come in now. There is a massive trust deficit, sadly, that has been there for many decades as far as our industry is concerned. I think industry has matured and grown out of that. So hopefully, I think going forward, things would be looked at from different lens altogether.
Perfect. We started on a personal note, which is your first visit to the distillery. Let's finish
Thank you.
also on a personal note. How do you like your whiskey?
It's something very, very unique. Whether it's the Amrut Classic Indian Single Malt Whiskey or the Amrut Fusion, yeah, we feel proud that it's made in India, distilled in India, bottled in India, and represents what we are able to offer globally. So it's different. We don't want to compare ourselves to either Japanese or Scotch. Indian single malt whiskies, Amrut especially, has its own uniqueness. People appreciate for what we produce, what we stand for, and we are happy with that. And we would like to, see that that particular concept grows globally going forward, please. Yeah.
Excellent. So, how do you like your whiskey particularly? Is it neat? Is there ice in it? Is it a cocktail? How do you normally like it?
Generally, I would prefer a single malt whiskey with a splash of water, and definitely not not on the cocktail side. We keep telling wherever we do tastings globally, if, please don't add any aerated drinks into, especially your single malt whiskeys, because uh, world over we make a single malt whiskeys with a lot of care, and please don't. It's sacrilegious to add aerated drinks into single malt whiskey. If you feel it's actually a personal choice. If some people like only ice, some people add soda and have a high ball and drink it as a long drink. So it's, some of them like it neat. So it's up to personal preference, please. Yeah.
So, the rule essentially is no Amrut and Coke, everything else is okay.
No, no, Amrit and aerated drinks. No, absolutely not.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, sir. This has been so informative. Thank you again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, and thank Moneycontrol for the interest in Amrut. Greatly appreciate, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time as well. Thank you.
Thank you.